originally to find the truth and to leave the world in some way. And Taoist remains in the world but remains hidden in the world. So it's a way of solving a problem very different from the Christian.
Something feels off, doesn't it? You can sense it even if you can't quite put it into words. It lingers in the quiet moments, in the spaces between thoughts, in the way reality seems to shift when you least expect it. But once you see it, once you recognize the truth, you can never unsee it. And from this moment on, the world will never be the same. The greatest illusion. Most people never question anything. They accept the world as it is, as it's presented to them. They follow the rules, believe what they're taught, and never stop to wonder if the entire foundation of their reality is based on an illusion. The greatest illusion. This isn't about conspiracy theories or wild speculation. This is about something far more ancient, far more real. It has been spoken of in the teachings of mystics, woven into the scriptures of sacred texts, hinted at by those who understood the nature of existence. It is the reason so many spiritual seekers spend lifetimes searching, the reason enlightenment feels like waking up from a dream. Because that's exactly what this reality is. A dream, a construct, a carefully crafted illusion designed to keep you from realizing who and what you really are. In Hinduism, they call it Maya, the grand illusion that keeps us trapped, believing we are separate, powerless, and bound by limitations. The Buddha spoke of it too, teaching that suffering comes from attachment to things that are not real. Even in Christianity, there are references to those who have eyes, let them see, as if the truth is hidden in plain sight, waiting for those who are ready to perceive it. And this is where it gets unsettling, because once you begin to understand that reality isn't as solid as it seems, you start noticing the cracks, the way time bends in strange ways, the way thoughts and emotions seem to shape the world around you, the way déjà vu, synchronicities, and gut feelings hint at something deeper moving beneath the surface. Have you ever thought of someone right before they called you? Have you ever had a dream that felt more real than waking life? Have you ever felt an unexplained connection to a place you've never been? These aren't coincidences, they are glimpses, fractures in the illusion. But the biggest trick of all, the one that keeps most people from waking up, is that the illusion is designed to feel real. Your senses, your emotions, even your memories, all of it is part of the framework, reinforcing the idea that this is all there is, that you're just a person living a linear life with a beginning and an end. But the truth is far more powerful and far more terrifying. Because if this world is an illusion, then who or what is dreaming it into existence? Ancient cultures knew the answer. The shamans, the sages, the monks who spent decades meditating in silence, they understood that the nature of reality is not fixed. That consciousness is the true source of creation, that everything we see, touch, and experience is not happening to us, but through us. You felt it before, even if you didn't realize it at the time. Those moments when reality seemed to shift, when you suddenly understood something without knowing how, when time seemed to slow down in a moment of danger, when you had an instinct so strong it saved you from making a terrible mistake. That was the real you breaking through, the part of you that exists beyond the illusion, beyond the programming, beyond the carefully constructed dream. But here's the thing about waking up. It isn't easy, because once you start seeing the truth, you can't go back. You begin to notice how the world subtly reinforces the illusion. The distractions, the systems are designed to keep you occupied, busy, and consumed. The way society teaches you to focus on things instead of thoughts, external success instead of inner truth. You start to realize that much of what you've been taught, from history to science to spirituality, has been filtered, altered, and sometimes even erased. Because a world full of awakened individuals is a world that cannot be controlled. So what happens when you stop playing along? When do you stop accepting reality at face value? That's when things get interesting, because the moment you truly start to question what is real, reality itself starts to respond. It bends, it shifts, it tests you. Strange coincidences become more frequent. You begin to attract knowledge, people, and experiences that push you further down the path. The world seems to speak to you in symbols, in patterns, in ways that defy logic. And the more you pay attention, the more undeniable it becomes. This is why ancient traditions placed so much importance on the inner journey. The Taoists spoke of wu-wei, the state of flowing effortlessly with the universe. The Hermetic teachings of ancient Egypt told us that the universe is mental and that everything begins with thought. Even in modern science, quantum physics is beginning to uncover what mystics have known for centuries, that the observer shapes reality simply by perceiving it. But this knowledge is dangerous, not in a fearful way, but in a way that threatens the very foundation of the illusion. Because once you understand that reality is not something outside of you, but something you are creating, the game changes. You are no longer just a participant, you are a co-creator. And this is just the beginning. There is so much more to uncover, so much more to see. The deeper you go, the clearer the illusion becomes. And once you fully grasp it, once you step beyond the veil, you will understand why so many have dedicated their lives to seeking the truth. So to start doing this, let's look back to examine the teachings of one of the greatest minds to ever challenge the nature of reality, Plato of ancient Greece. Thousands of years ago, he spoke about something that feels just as true today as it did back then. He told a story, a simple but powerful parable, that reveals exactly why so many people remain trapped in the illusion. It's called the allegory of the cave. Imagine a dark cave where people have been imprisoned since birth. They are chained in place, unable to move, staring at a wall in front of them. Behind them, there is a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners, there are people carrying objects. But the prisoners can't see these people or the objects directly. All they can see are the shadows cast on the wall. To them, those shadows are reality. They don't know anything else. They name the shadows, they study them, and they believe they understand the world. But they are only seeing a reflection of the truth, not reality itself. Now, imagine that one of the prisoners is freed. At first, he is blinded by the fire. The light hurts his eyes because he has spent his whole life in darkness. But as his eyes adjust, he begins to see the truth. He realizes the shadows weren't reality at all. Then he is led outside the cave, and for the first time, he sees the real world. The sun, the sky, the vastness of existence beyond the cave. And here's where it gets even deeper. Once he has seen reality, he knows he can't go back to believing in the shadows. But what happens if he returns to the cave and tries to tell the others? They don't believe him. To them, he sounds crazy. They've spent their entire lives watching the shadows on the wall. It's all they know. The idea that there's something greater, something beyond, doesn't fit into their understanding. This is exactly what happens in our world. Most people live inside the cave, convinced that the shadows they see, the stories they're told, the beliefs they've accepted, are the full picture, but they are only seeing fragments, and when someone tries to show them a greater truth, they resist, they mock, they fight to defend the very illusion that keeps them trapped. Plato wasn't just talking about a cave, he was talking about us. He was showing us that reality isn't always what it seems, and that most people are too afraid or too comfortable to seek the truth. But for those who dare to step outside the cave, for those willing to question what they've been told, an entirely new world is waiting. And this world is not just something you see, it's something you co-create. Every thought, action, and intention shape the reality around you, just as a builder carefully measures, aligns, and refines his work. In Masonic symbolism, the square, compass, and all-seeing eye serve as guides through this journey, reminding us that creation is not random, but a deliberate act of balance, precision, and higher vision. The square represents moral integrity, reminding us that our choices must be guided by truth and righteousness. The compass teaches us balance, urging us to measure and regulate our thoughts, emotions, and actions. And the all-seeing eye, It represents the awareness we must cultivate, the ability to see beyond illusions, to perceive the unseen forces that shape our lives. Imagine for a moment a world without night. Without darkness, how could we ever appreciate the light? If we never faced adversity, how could we cultivate resilience? This is the very essence of the builder's journey, a path that demands we confront our hidden fears and transform them into strengths. The journey of the builder. But these are more than just symbols. They are a call to action. They challenge us to step beyond the mundane and awaken to a deeper understanding of our purpose and potential. The Masons called it the journey of the builder, but it is a path meant for all who seek truth. Philosophers throughout history have contemplated the duality of light and darkness, not merely as physical realities, but as profound metaphors for human experience, knowledge, and transformation. One such thinker was Carl Jung, who introduced the concept of the shadow self, the unconscious part of our psyche where we store repressed thoughts, emotions, and desires. According to Jung, true self-mastery is not about eradicating darkness, but integrating it. Much like the Masonic builder, we are called to work with both light and shadow, understanding that one cannot exist without the other. As the builder embarks on his path, he is faced with a crucial realization. The real work is not external, but internal. The temple he is building is not of stone and mortar, but of mind and soul. His experiences, beliefs, and values become the very foundation of this invisible structure. Every trial, every challenge is another stone laid, another piece of the self refined. And yet, as he builds, he encounters obstacles, three forces that test him at every turn: thought, emotion, and action. Thought, when uncontrolled, becomes a storm of doubt, blinding him to clarity. Emotion, when left unchecked, becomes a reckless passion, pulling him off course, and action without wisdom brings destruction instead of creation. At first, these forces work against him, threatening to undo all his efforts. His temple crumbles, and his purpose wavers. But the builder does not give up. He knows that to succeed, he must learn to master these forces, to bring thought into focus, to temper emotion with wisdom, and to channel action with intent. This struggle is not unique to the builder. It is the struggle of every individual seeking meaning. We all battle doubt, we all wrestle with our emotions, and we all make choices that shape our destiny. To construct something meaningful in our lives, we must find the delicate balance between these three forces, just as the builder must to complete his great work. The Masonic tradition teaches that this journey is one of self-mastery, a process of refining and sculpting the self, much like a sculptor chisels away at stone to reveal the masterpiece within. And just as the sculptor must remove imperfections to shape his vision, we must confront our own rough edges, our fears, our weaknesses, our limiting beliefs. Only by embracing and transforming these hidden aspects of ourselves can we step into our fullest potential. But transformation is not without suffering. The builder, like all who walk this path, experiences hardship, betrayal, and isolation. There are moments when the weight of the journey feels unbearable, and when surrender seems like the only option. And yet, in these darkest moments, he makes a choice to continue, to trust the process, to use the very tools that once threatened to destroy him as instruments of his evolution. This is the true resurrection, not one granted by divine intervention, but earned through perseverance and dedication. The builder rises, not as the man he was, but as the master of his own destiny. He has not only built a temple, he has built himself. As we delve deeper into the symbols that guide him, we begin to see that they do not just apply to the builder, they apply to us. We are all builders of our own lives, architects of our own fate. And like the builder, we must learn to work with both light and shadow, to balance knowledge and mystery, and to embrace the struggle as part of the process of becoming whole. In the end, the temple we construct is not a place outside of us, but within, a structure built not of stone, but of wisdom, resilience, and purpose. As we ascend further on this symbolic stairway, we move beyond mere awareness of these forces, thought, emotion, and action, and into their mastery. The Masonic tradition teaches that the path to enlightenment is not a single moment of revelation, but a gradual unfolding, a steady climb where each step demands greater understanding and discipline. The stairway itself is a bridge between realms, between ignorance and knowledge, between impulse and wisdom, between the raw potential within us and its refined, illuminated form. Every step forward is a test, an initiation into deeper truths. To walk this path, the builder must learn the delicate art of balancing these three pillars, ensuring that none stands in isolation, for they are strongest when they support one another. The third pillar, action, is where thought and emotion manifest in the material world. Action is the hand that builds, the will that transforms ideas into reality. The Masons emphasize that action is the measure of a person's true character, for no matter how noble one's thoughts or how deep one's emotions are, it is only through action that these inner forces shape the outer world. But action without wisdom is reckless. It can destroy as easily as it can create. The unbalanced builder, consumed by impulsive movement without reflection, risks tearing down what should be built with care. True mastery lies in aligning action with clarity of thought and depth of feeling. It is in this harmony that the builder finds purpose, not merely acting for the sake of movement, but moving with direction, with intention, with a higher calling. The Masonic stairway symbolizes this very process, the refining of one's impulses, the tempering of one's desires, and the cultivation of disciplined will. Each step forward requires the builder to pause, to reflect, to ensure that thought is clear, emotion is stable, and action is righteous. This is the path of mastery, not an easy road, but a necessary one. Yet there is a deeper truth hidden within the stairway's ascent. The steps do not merely lead upward, they lead inward. For as the builder rises through the external trials of life, he is also journeying deeper into himself, uncovering layers of truth he once overlooked. He realizes that the temple he builds is not merely a structure of stone or wood, nor even just a metaphor for wisdom. It is his very being. Every decision, every challenge overcome, every act of self-discipline and growth adds another stone to his inner temple. And so, the question arises, how does one know if they are truly progressing? How can one tell whether they are walking this path with purpose or merely going through the motions? The answer lies in awareness. The builder who climbs without self-examination is like one ascending in darkness, unsure of where he treads. But the one who walks with mindfulness, who questions his own motives, who seeks wisdom in every struggle, who listens to the quiet voice of truth within, this is the builder who will reach the higher realms of understanding. The Masons call this the great work, the lifelong pursuit of transformation, the unending process of refining the self. It is not a task with an end, but a journey that stretches beyond lifetimes, beyond what we can see or fully grasp. Yet for those who dare to take the first step, for those who commit to the ascent, the rewards are beyond measure. With this foundation laid, we move forward, deeper into the mysteries of the stairway's ascent, to uncover how the builder, now armed with wisdom, must face his greatest test yet, the balance of power and humility, of knowledge and responsibility, of darkness and light. The secret stair. As the builder ascends, he encounters a truth known only to those who have walked this path before, a belief whispered in the shadows of ancient teachings, rarely spoken of in the open. This is the idea of the secret stair, a concept found in certain esoteric traditions, including some interpretations of Masonic thought. It suggests that beyond the visible steps of knowledge, discipline, and self-mastery, there exists another path, one that can only be seen by those who are truly ready. The secret stair is not made of stone or light, but of awareness itself. It is said that while many climb the external stairway, mastering thought, emotion, and action, few ever realize that a hidden path exists within. This unseen stair does not follow the same steady ascent. Instead, it moves in unexpected ways, requiring moments of stillness, leaps of faith, and sometimes even steps that seem to lead backward before revealing their true purpose. This belief comes from the idea that true wisdom cannot always be gained through effort alone. There are times when pushing forward leads nowhere and when striving only creates resistance. The secret stair teaches that in those moments, the builder must stop, listen, and recognize the subtle invitations of the unseen path. It is here that humility becomes essential, for the greatest truths often reveal themselves not to those who demand them, but to those who are willing to receive. One version of this teaching comes from an old legend of a traveler who sought the highest temple of wisdom. He climbed for years, facing every trial with discipline and strength. Yet each time he reached what he believed to be the summit, he found only another staircase stretching further upward. Exhausted and frustrated, he finally collapsed, unable to take another step. And in that moment, when he no longer struggled, when he simply was, he saw a door appear where there had been none before. The final step was not one of effort, but of surrender. This lesson echoes through many mystical traditions. Some say the secret stair is a test of patience, revealing that true understanding comes when one stops grasping for it. Others suggest that it represents the shift from outer seeking to inner knowing, that the answers we chase are not somewhere out there, but have always been within us, waiting to be noticed. For the builder, this is a turning point. It is easy to believe that progress means constant motion, and that success comes from climbing higher, doing more, and knowing more. But the secret stair reminds us that sometimes stepping forward means stepping inward. Sometimes the greatest act of mastery is not in controlling the world, but in learning to listen to the quiet voice within, to the patterns unfolding around us, to the signs that guide without forcing. And so, as the builder stands at this new threshold, the question arises: is he willing to trust the unseen? Is he ready to move not only with effort, but with awareness? The next step is his to take, or perhaps to recognize. The truth of mastery. As the builder stands at the threshold of the secret stair, another realization dawns, one that shifts his understanding of the path ahead. He begins to see that mastery is not simply about knowledge or feeling, but about what one does with both. Thought and emotion must come together in the physical world, forming the final pillar of the builder's journey: action. In the Masonic tradition, action is not mere movement. It is purposeful, deliberate, and aligned with the highest principles. It is the force that gives shape to our ideas and brings our intentions to life. But action is not easy. It demands courage, discipline, and an awareness that every choice, no matter how small, ripples outward, shaping not only our own fate but the world around us. When thought and emotion are in harmony, action becomes a natural extension of who we are, a means of manifesting our deepest values into reality. But when these forces are out of balance, action can turn reckless or hollow. It may become impulsive, driven by fleeting emotions without wisdom to guide it, or it may become cold and mechanical, carried out without feeling or true purpose. Thus, the builder must integrate these three pillars, thought, emotion, and action, into a single balanced foundation. Thought alone, without the warmth of emotion, becomes calculating and detached, unable to truly connect with life's richness. Emotion, without the guidance of thought, becomes wild and erratic, leading us astray with every passing desire. And without action, even the most profound insights and feelings remain unrealized, mere shadows of what could be but never is. This is the great challenge of the builder's path, to ensure that wisdom is tempered with compassion, that feeling is channeled into purpose, and that every action reflects both clarity and insight. The secret stair does not appear to those who rush blindly forward, nor to those who hesitate in endless contemplation. It reveals itself only to those who have learned to move with both intention and awareness, whose steps are guided by the silent harmony of thought, emotion, and action working as one. But mastering this balance is no simple task. It is not a single moment of enlightenment, but a daily practice of refinement. Life does not grant us perfect stillness to arrange our inner world before we act. It challenges us constantly, pulling us in different directions and testing our ability to maintain equilibrium in the midst of chaos. The builder, like all of us, must learn to check in with himself, to pause and ask, are my thoughts clear? Are my emotions in balance? Is my action aligned with my purpose? Only then can he step forward with confidence, knowing that he moves not just with force, but with wisdom. And so, each of us stands as our own builder, shaping the temple of our existence. The journey is never truly finished, for there is always another step to take, another layer to uncover, another moment to refine. But those who walk this path with awareness, who seek the secret stair with patience and trust, will find that mastery is not about reaching an end. It is about learning how to walk the path itself. Refining the pillars of thought, emotion, and action is more than an act of personal growth. It is an act of creation. The Masons teach that when we cultivate resilience and humility, we do not just shape ourselves, we shape the world around us. A life lived in balance becomes a force of harmony, influencing everything and everyone it touches. To walk the path of mastery is to understand that transformation is never confined to the self. It radiates outward, bringing order to chaos, clarity to confusion, and stability to the world. As we move forward, we will see how these three forces, thought, emotion, and action, are reflected in the symbols of Masonry. Each emblem, each architectural element serves as a guide, illuminating the way toward a life that is not only fortified by strength, but enriched by meaning. These symbols are more than just decorative elements. They are teachings encoded in form, offering a blueprint for personal refinement and universal wisdom. Now, let's ascend together the stairway of mastery, exploring how thought, emotion, and action become steps on the path to true transformation. Decoding the symbolism of the stairway. The image of a stairway holds a profound significance in the Masonic tradition. It is not merely a structure that connects one level to another, it is a metaphor for the journey of the soul, a progression through stages of understanding and growth. Each step represents a challenge to be met, a lesson to be absorbed, and a refinement of the self. The stairway calls the builder to ascend, to rise in wisdom, to elevate his mind and spirit, and to move with intention toward enlightenment. At the base of the stairway stand two mighty pillars, marking the entrance to this sacred journey. These pillars symbolize the duality of existence, light and shadow, order and chaos, the known and the unknown. To take the first step, the builder must recognize and embrace this duality, understanding that true wisdom does not lie in rejecting one side for the other, but in learning to navigate the balance between them. This is the foundation upon which all further growth is built. Without this grounding, the ascent would be impossible, for it is in confronting and integrating life's polarities that the builder gains both strength and insight. As he ascends, the builder encounters 7 significant steps, each representing a key discipline of human knowledge: grammar, rhetoric, logic, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. These disciplines are far more than academic pursuits. They serve as instruments of transformation, shaping both the mind and the soul. Grammar and rhetoric refine the builder's ability to express himself with clarity, ensuring that his words not only convey meaning but resonate with truth. Logic and arithmetic sharpen his intellect, training him to analyze, reason, and distinguish reality from illusion. Geometry and astronomy connect him to the greater order of existence, unveiling the intricate patterns that weave together the physical and spiritual realms. Music, the final step, transcends mere sound. It is the unseen force that speaks directly to the soul, reminding him of the rhythm and harmony that pulse at the heart of all creation. Through these teachings, the builder does not merely gain knowledge, he awakens to a deeper understanding of himself and the universe. Each step on this sacred stairway is a refinement of the self, a mastery that transforms knowledge into wisdom, thought into clarity, and action into purpose. The Masons believed that mastery of these disciplines prepared one not just to understand the world, but to transcend it, to perceive the deeper reality beyond the veil of the physical. But the ascent does not end here. Beyond the 7 steps, the builder encounters another threshold, 5 additional steps representing the senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. These senses, often taken for granted, serve as the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. They anchor the builder to the present moment while simultaneously offering glimpses of the unseen. Sight perceives symbols and hidden meanings. Hearing attunes the builder to wisdom spoken and unspoken. Smell, taste, and touch remind him that the material world is but a reflection of deeper truths. Together, these steps form the path of initiation, guiding the builder from mere existence to awakened understanding. To climb this stairway is not just to ascend in knowledge, but to become the knowledge, to embody the balance of thought, emotion, and action in every step, until mastery is no longer something to be reached, but something to be lived. Solomon's Temple. One of the most fascinating historical events that ties into the Masonic journey of knowledge and self-mastery is the construction of King Solomon's Temple. This temple, described in ancient texts, is not just a physical structure, but a symbol of spiritual enlightenment, order, and divine wisdom. For the Masons, it represents the ultimate goal of self-improvement, building a temple not of stone, but of the mind and soul. According to legend, King Solomon commissioned the temple with the help of master builders, the most notable being Hiram Abiff. Hiram was said to be a master architect, a man of immense knowledge and skill, who understood not just the physical art of construction, but the deeper hidden wisdom behind it. He is often seen as a symbol of the enlightened builder, someone who has mastered the pillars of thought, emotion, and action. The story takes a dramatic turn when Hiram is confronted by 3 lesser craftsmen who demand that he reveal the secrets of his masterful knowledge. When he refuses, they strike him down, and he is ultimately buried in an unmarked grave. His death is symbolic. It represents the struggle between wisdom and ignorance, between those who seek to build with patience and discipline and those who want power without understanding. According to Masonic tradition, true mastery cannot be taken by force or deception. It must be earned through effort, integrity, and self-reflection. This tale holds deep meaning for those who walk the path of self-improvement. The 3 attackers represent the forces that threaten balance: reckless thought, uncontrolled emotion, and misguided action. When these forces overwhelm a person, they can lead to destruction, just as they led to the downfall of Hiram. However, his story does not end in tragedy. In the Masonic legend, Hiram's wisdom is not lost. Instead, it is rediscovered by those willing to seek it with patience and dedication. The temple itself mirrors the stairway of mastery, with its 2 great pillars at the entrance representing duality, light and dark, order and chaos. Those who enter must recognize and accept these forces before they can begin the journey of true learning. Within the temple, sacred geometry governs its design, reflecting the universal order that the builder must come to understand. Every stone, every measurement, every symbol carries meaning, guiding those who study it toward a greater awareness of themselves and the world around them. By studying the story of Solomon's Temple and the lessons of Hiram Abiff, we see how the Masonic path is not just about acquiring knowledge, but about using it wisely. It is a reminder that thought must be clear and disciplined, emotion must be channeled with purpose, and action must be taken with understanding. Only then can the builder, whether an ancient craftsman or a modern seeker, truly construct something that stands the test of time. As the builder ascends, he learns that mastery is not simply about acquiring knowledge, but about refining it, shaping it so that it serves his highest purpose rather than distracting him from it. With each step, he moves closer to the realization that wisdom is not an external prize, but an internal state of being. Eventually, he reaches 3 final steps, representing an ancient trinity that echoes through countless spiritual traditions: body, mind, and spirit. These 3 aspects form the ultimate balance, the culmination of his journey. They remind the builder that he is not merely a physical being, but a mind and a soul, each part essential to his wholeness. True mastery is not achieved by prioritizing one over the others, but by bringing them into harmony. To climb the stairway is to transition from ignorance to understanding, from chaos to order, from isolation to unity. But this path is not one of escape. It is one of deeper engagement with the world, of seeing with clarity, feeling with compassion, and acting with purpose. The stairway is an invitation, a challenge to refine oneself, to elevate one's life so that it becomes a source of meaning and light in the world. This journey is never truly complete. The stairway stretches beyond sight, leading to ever higher states of awareness. Each step invites reflection, discipline, and awareness. The Masonic teachings remind us that wisdom is not found in a single revelation, but in a gradual unfolding, a series of insights that, over time, lift us closer to the light. And so as the builder continues his ascent, he carries with him the lessons of the stairway, using them as tools to shape his journey and his contribution to the world. At the peak of this ascent lies one of the most mysterious and powerful symbols of all, the all-seeing eye, often called the Eye of Providence. Set within a triangle, it watches from above, a silent guardian over the path of the builder. Throughout history, this symbol has captivated, inspired, and even unsettled those who gaze upon it. But what does it truly mean? The all-seeing eye is no ordinary eye. It represents vision beyond sight, awareness that transcends the physical. It is often associated with divine oversight, a force of consciousness that observes and understands all things. For the Masons, it is not just a symbol of an external watcher, but of an inner awakening. It is the eye that sees not just the world, but the self, stripped of illusion. To perceive through this eye is to move beyond surface appearances and glimpse the deeper essence of existence. But its meaning runs even deeper. The Eye of Providence is also a reminder that we are never alone. Within us there exists an internal watcher, the quiet observer who witnesses our thoughts, our actions, our intentions. This inner presence holds us accountable, urging us to act with integrity, to align our lives with the highest principles we claim to uphold. The all-seeing eye challenges us with a question: are we truly living with purpose? Are we guided by wisdom, or are we merely wandering in darkness? Framing this eye as the triangle, itself a symbol of great significance. In esoteric thought, the triangle represents the balance of body, mind, and spirit, the very same 3 elements the builder encountered at the final steps of the stairway. The eye, resting at the center, serves as the unifying force, a sign that true clarity and purpose emerge only when these 3 aspects are brought into alignment. When body, mind, and spirit exist in harmony, the builder's vision sharpens, and he can move forward with unwavering purpose. Yet the all-seeing eye is not just about personal insight. It is also a reminder of our connection to the greater whole. It reveals that all things are interwoven, that every action ripples outward into the world. The Masonic teachings emphasize that each individual is a part of a grand design, a builder contributing to the architecture of existence. The choices we make, the wisdom we cultivate, and the way we carry ourselves in the world all shape the reality we inhabit. The eye, then, is both a guide and a responsibility. It calls us to live with awareness, to see not just for ourselves, but for the good of all. But to see clearly is not always comfortable. The Eye of Providence does not grant selective vision. It illuminates all things, even those we may prefer to ignore. It exposes truths we may resist, revealing where we have fallen short and where we have acted from fear rather than wisdom. This is its greatest gift and its greatest challenge. For those who dare to look, the eye offers not just knowledge, but transformation. Thus, at the summit of the stairway, beneath the gaze of the all-seeing eye, the builder faces his final lesson. He understands now that mastery is not a destination, but a continuous process. The stairway never truly ends, and neither does the work of refining oneself. With this awareness, he steps forward, not as one who has reached the end, but as one who has only just begun. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.